favorite sports. I'm Eric Lopez, your Knights Insider. Joined alongside my good friend Jason Collette, UCF's favorite media person.
Yeah, I have the lucky charm.
They love you.
Last night, undefeated since they started letting me upstairs.
I know.
So
they want you to come every game now, every sporting event. They're going to invite you to UCF tennis soon.
Hey, whatever it takes. If they can hook the IP and bring me down to Miami next week after my surgery.
They should. George O'Leary should give you a private a seat in the bus or in the flight, depending what they decide to do.
Outstanding. It's out there. I'm available.
I like it. And also joining alongside us is, of course, our NBA and Magic Lockout Insider. Not for long, though, people. We will have NBA. More on that later.
Wow.
Andrew Melnick joining us. Andrew, welcome.
I don't know if I'm ready for NBA yet. Football has kind of taken over everything.
It has taken over everything. I heard there's a football season starting today in some sport, right? In NFL? Heard of it?
Tomorrow. Football doesn't start till Tom Brady takes a snap.
Oh, Florida. And then, of course, we got our own Bucs man, the Buccaneer, Josh Freeman jersey, ready to roll to watch the Bucs.
No, I'm not going to be able to watch them today.
But you can listen to it right here on ESPN.
That's right, I will be.
Carson Ingle joining us.
Thank you, sir.
That was a good plug.
Bucs, Lions, 1 o'clock. Gene Deckerhoff on the call there. And, of course, our fine producer, Eli Manning, jersey-wearing David Buckman, who remains undefeated in the UCF booth. Welcome, Buckman.
I credit Collette more, but
they love you, Jason, in that booth.
Yeah, even though he's wearing that crappy Giants jersey because his crappy Giants.
Oh, that's right. You guys, your teams are playing this one. Giants, Redskins.
Yeah, even my crappier Redskins.
Jason, I was actually talking to a fellow Giants fan, and I said to him jokingly, I think Rex Grossman could outperform Eli Manning, as a joke, and he's like, it's quite possible. So we'll see.
Yeah, sexy Rexy.
All right, we can get into that in the last segment of the show, and we will talk NFL football on this show, but coming up later. Also, which sporting event is the bigger deal in Tampa, St. Pete? Are you going to go to the Bucs, are you going to go to the Rays, or are you going to do what you've done all year and not go to any?
Yeah.
That's the question. But first, where people were last night in Orlando? That's right, the beautiful Bright House Network Stadium. By the way, of course, you guys can reach us at our emails. Jason, where can they find you?
They can find me at jcollette at ESPN1080.com.
I believe I'm A. Melnick at ESPN1080.com.
This is a familiar theme because I am C. Ingle at ESPN1080.com.
I'm E. Lopez, at ESPN1080.com. Thanks to all those people from Boise who emailed me, by the way, kind words last week defending Kellogg Moore. Very generous. You can also call us at 407-482-ESPN. But now, Jason, of course, the top story, UCF last night, for those that missed it, in front of over 45,000 loud fans. Very good atmosphere. Blows out Boston College, 30-3, outscored them 21-0 in the second half, and pulled away for a good win. First win at home against the BCS school.
Yeah, it was lovely to get that monkey off your back. For anybody who's been around and saw the Virginia Tech game, the Pittsburgh game, Texas game, NC State, you name them, UCF has lost them. But it was fantastic to see them dominate that game in that kind of fashion. Admittedly, it was a dinged-up Boston College offense. You're missing Montrell Harris. You're missing your top receiver from the previous week. That I'm not going to discredit the effort of the UCF defense because I thought for being quote-unquote undersized, they were in that backfield early and often all game last night. And Chase Reddick was 10 for 23 with 2 interceptions, and the passing game was inefficient, and that pretty much shut down the running game as well.
Carson, your thoughts? You were there in the stands. What was it like from the stands?
Well, it was a great crowd, and they were extremely loud. I think it was the 4th largest crowd in the history of Bright House Network Stadium, so that was a big plus. The game overall was interesting. I mean, it was really unusual because I don't think we've seen a game like that where, it really kind of puddled along for the first half, and the second half rolls along, and, I think that we kind of just wore them down, which was really strange and something that I haven't seen from a UCF team before.
Physically dominated, outran BC 235-57. The 3-back system worked. Latavius Murray only had 1 carry in the first half, got most of the carries in the second half, looked fresh against a worn-down BC defense that was on the field for at least 2/3 of the game as their offense couldn't do anything, and UCF just wore them down.
That's what impressed me. I mean, UCF is usually the team you see these games. We've seen them in the lead in some of these games. I can remember in Lincoln them leading Nebraska in the first half one year, and they're the team that usually gets worn down, and instead it's the opposite. I mean, they scored 21 fourth-quarter points, just ran it down BC's throat. It was impressive.
I mean, that speaks to the depth that's on the team now. I mean, in the past, when UCF, in the past years, your ones were good, but when you got down to the twos and threes, that's where the gap came in. But as Carson said, and as you said, Eric, as this game wore on, that BC defense was on the field way too much. A lot of 3-and-outs by their offense, a lot of 4, 5, 6-play drives, and that was it. 2.5 minutes. They could not stay on the field. And by the third quarter, that's when those holes started opening up. Then Murray found them, Godfrey found them, Harvey found them, and they started gashing in the first half when they were leaving points on the field, getting down to the red zone, and then stalling out and having to settle for field goals. And by the way, credit to Nick Catoy for hitting 3 really good field goals.
Had a solid game, and maybe his best game is a night. 3 for 3 in the first half. Really kicked the ball, and I think has kind of solidified his job there. For a little while there. He looked good, had good kick return. Special teams, very solid. I know you were very critical about that last week. They were much sharper this week.
Exactly. Josh Robinson did an excellent job of fielding those punts. No bobbles, nothing, because BC's punter was pretty much their MVP last night. I thought he did a really good job at kicking some nice, high, long punts, keeping Robinson and neutralizing his effect. I think he had 1 return yard on the game with that. So that was good. But again, how they were able to keep that and stay on it in that second half and just wear down that defense, and by the fourth quarter, BC just looked dog tired.
Looked tired, and UCF was definitely motivated, not being ranked. And Victor Gray said after the game as well, he had they had some extra motivation, extra juice. They were pretty fired up.
We came out hungry. They were talking in the papers about how we're light in the ass. We get that every week. I don't know why, but people seem to have to run the ball. It's better. I think it's better just to be quiet and play football. That's what we do. So we went out there and talked with our pads.
Yeah, talk about that, because I guess they came out in the newspaper today. One of their offensive linemen had a little quote about that. Did you guys see that this afternoon?
We've seen a lot of these college athletes don't understand how to use Twitter. They put things up there that they don't know how to edit or not what to say. It's not private. We know what you're saying. So it's better if people just put on their pads and play football.
That was Victor Gray. Brandon Helwig with our very good friend from UCSports.com, our friend there. Clarify, Jason, for those that may not know the story there, what that was referred to.
Sure. One of the BC guards, Nate Rickman, said in one of the Boston-based papers that he was comparing UCF's front line to Northwestern's and said UCF was quicker, but they were definitely smaller, and they felt that BC would be able to dominate the interior part of the line and run right up the middle with authority like they do to control the games. And the players definitely took this to heart. You heard Victor's Gray comment. Jose, who is definitely not one of these smaller guys on the team.
Best name ever.
Went on Twitter last night and said, I guess we aren't so small after all. And, so the players definitely heard this comment. Word got around, and you saw, early on, I'd say in the first drive or two of each half, BC definitely controlled the line of scrimmage. But after that, UCF front 4, front 7 were in that backfield. Andre Williams had nowhere to go.
Well, there's only been 200-yard running backs in the history of Bright House Network Stadium visiting players. So I guess it wasn't going to happen there on Saturday either.
That's a good point. And the other, a couple of the things there. The longest run of the game was 16 yards for BC. And we look at how this UCF defense is going now. This is now 3 straight games without a touchdown by the opposition. Over the last 4 games, if we go back to the Conference USA title game, UCF has outscored the opposition 119-19. Of course, 62-0 against Charleston Southern is going to slant that a little bit. But 17-7 against SMU, 10-6 against Georgia, 30-3 last night against BC. So you've got 2 BCS schools. The Conference USA West champion, and then a FCS opponent. It is what it is. The defense is really doing a job, and the offense is taking advantage of what the defense is helping them do.
Now, the question is, of course, the Knights have looked dominant in the first 2 games. Has outscored their opponents 92-3, and looked sharp. Might even be more explosive than a year ago. Jeff Godfrey was tremendous. Had that highlight touchdown on the All-American linebacker BC Kugeley. Made him look like Brian Bosworth, and Godfrey did his best Bo Jackson impersonation. I know that I was with the CBS booth. James Bates and Aaron Ted. They were very impressed with Jeff Godfrey. I think they were even Bates in particular was surprised at how talented physically he is. And Buckman, I think you would share I think that was the sentiment in the press box, wasn't it?
Yeah, Godfrey last night got his 15th rushing touchdown as a Knight. He's going to completely blow Dante Culpepper's record out of the water of 24, and he's done that in 16 games, I think, and Culpepper did it in 24 games, or 44 games rather. So, at this rate, Godfrey's going to own every quarterback record at UCF. So.
You sound like a guy that would run like a UCF Twitter and with all that information, Football SID.
I mean, maybe. Who knows?
Wow, I tell you. You know how to use your Twitter, unlike BC.
Yeah, I don't think they tweeted one time.
Yeah, not after that. 2 weeks ago, the defensive end for Charleston Southern said they were going to break Godfrey's neck. Yesterday, it was the BC guys and they were going to run it down UCF's throat. So we're waiting to see which FIU athlete is going to tweet something this week, because obviously that seems to be the new trend.
That could be. But, of course, so the Knights are dominant. If you want to be the half-empty guy, they'll say that UCF has played 2 opponents who are combined 0-4 on the season. Where do you fall on that, Andrew? Are you on the thumbs up, thumbs down? Are you waiting to see? What's your thoughts?
I think you got to be on the thumbs up. The way they dominated the line of scrimmage in the second half, I mean, this is a BC team that's always big, always powerful. I mean, BC saying that they're bigger, Northwestern's bigger than UCF. That part of it's not a lie. Being better clearly was. But that's a team that's always big and strong, can almost always run the ball, even if their running back's out. And that's a team that BC completely dominated defensively. You know, BC not much of an offensive team, but I still think it's impressive. But now the fun starts, or maybe not fun. They hit the road. We saw what FIU did Friday night, dominated Louisville. I mean, the score doesn't really indicate the domination there.
Correct.
And then they're at BYU on a short week the week after, who's looked good last week, nearly beat Texas last night. Not a bad team.
One at
either.
Ole Miss.
Yeah.
Very good defensive team.
Yeah, so I mean the fun starts, or maybe the fun doesn't start, depending on what way you're looking at it, but it's going to get a lot tougher now.
Well, my one concern, I think, is just can they get the passing offense started quickly, started early, because it kind of took a while for Jeff Godfrey. Like, I was shocked when I looked at the end of the game, and he had completed his career high in completions, also had his career high in attempts, because I mean, the passing game just didn't develop early. So can they do that if they need that in these next 2 games?
And BYU is a team that might be able to take away the running game and make Jeff Godfrey beat them.
He might have to kind of, have a race with them.
That's one of the things that surprised me when looking at the final stat sheet. And Godfrey was 20 for 25 last night, but I think for 110 and not a lot of yards. But that's what BC's defense was last night. It almost looked like they played a lot of Tampa 2, cover 2, keep it in front of you.
Yeah,
and so, and Godfrey was taking what the defense was giving him. He took a couple of shots downfield, nearly got O.J. McDuffie killed going into the goalpost, trying to go over
That's
the top.
Quincy McDuffie.
Quincy, sorry. Yeah.
Now, O.J.'s a good Dolphin
Trust me,
reference.
I love the O.J. McDuffie reference.
Again, I keep doing that. So, that he had J.J. Wharton made a phenomenal catch while Kenneth Williams was pretty much wide open in the end zone. So the passing game, that's where in practice this week, if you want to be a glass half empty guy, the passing game still hasn't looked 100% sharp. Godfrey's still been off on some passes. Some of the reads have been a little odd. But that's going to have to happen, as you guys said. BYU is that kind of defense that can take that away, and FIU is going to be very interesting because this is a game where a lot of UCF's kids are coming back home to South Florida. They played high school football against guys they either played with or against in high school. A very athletic defense. This is a very quick one. It might be the quickest defense that they've faced so far this season.
Yes, it is. And, of course, for more coverage of the UCF-BC game, go to ESPN1080.com now. Click on Insiders. And you're going to see the debut, the article of Jason Collette, as he recapped the UCF win over BC. And there's a fine video of 2 fine, good-looking men. Aren't they, Jason?
No, I'm pretty hideous in that video. So,
well, there's video anyway. It may not be that,
but
we myself and Collette did a nice post-game wrap from UCF. A couple quick words before we go to break. Andrew, Florida State blows out Charleston Southern. Whoop-de-doo.
Yeah, they're bad. That might be the worst team Florida State's ever played. And you guys would know. You saw them last week.
I would know. We saw them last week. We recapped them last week. But now it starts for serious now. Oklahoma comes in next week.
Yeah, serious is probably an understatement. I mean, you're looking at a team that's number 1 in almost every poll. And Florida State, I think, still has some offensive kinks that they've been trying to work out. They've kind of used these first 2 games as almost a passing game scrimmage. And we saw them. They ran about, I think, 7 total plays in the 2 games, not wanting to show Oklahoma anything. But, yeah, it's about to get real interesting.
And at Florida, same thing. They shut out UAB. They've looked good in the 2 games. But, again, now they got Tennessee.
Yeah, Tennessee
It's a different
looked good
animal. Tennessee looks
blowing
good.
out Cincinnati.
It's going to be a fantastic college football weekend next week, which we'll get into later on the show. But we're going to take a break now. And when we come back, it's a big sporting event in Tampa, St. Pete. Do we have a playoff race in Tampa, St. Pete? We'll talk about that. And where are you going, Tampa fans? Are you going Bucs game, Braves game, or you're going to sit it out, aren't you? You know you are, because you're not good sports fans, are you? And I didn't think so either. You're listening to ESPN 1080.com Insider Show on ESPN 1080 The Team.
Golf, Watts' Golf. That's Edwin Watts Golf. America's most trusted golf retailer. Now open on Lake Underhill Road in the Waterford Lakes area. The much anticipated tailor-made R11 irons, the most powerful, playable, and refined irons ever, are now in stock. Stop by to have their fitting experts match you with a set that fits your swing. Visit the brand new location on Lake Underhill Road in Waterford Lakes to test out the new tailor-made R11 irons. Or stop by one of your local Edwin Watts Golf Shop in the Orlando area today.
The Golf Insiders, America's #1 award-winning talk radio show, is back, bringing you the inside scoop on all things golf. Tune into the Golf Insiders every Wednesday night at 6 p.m. on ESPN 1080 The Team. Get the latest on the PGA Tour, product reviews, and more from America's #1 reporters inside the ropes, exclusively on the Golf Insiders. The Golf Insiders, intelligent golf talk, Wednesdays 6 p.m. only on ESPN 1080 The Team.
At Walgreens, I'm not just a prescription. I'm Claire, and my doctor told me I have high cholesterol. Suddenly, I have to think about what I can eat, how much I should exercise, how often I'll take my new medication.
Every prescription filled at Walgreens goes through a 10-point safeguard check that reviews your current Walgreens health record for allergies and potentially harmful drug interactions, because we know you have a lot on your mind. To learn more about our 10-point safeguard check, talk to your pharmacist today. Walgreens, there's a way to stay well.
If you own a home, you need homeowner's insurance. If you drive a car, it needs to be insured too. But what about insuring the one thing you depend on to pay all your bills? Life Foundation spokesman Marshall Gifford.
Everything hinges on your income. If you don't have an income, nothing else happens. If you're disabled and have no disability insurance, it's going to be financial suicide.
Consider the facts.
The vast majority of Americans do not have adequate disability insurance. They're playing Russian roulette with their financial future.
Your income is your most valuable asset. Disability insurance is there to protect it. A message from the nonprofit Life Foundation.
And welcome back to ESPN 1080's.com Insider Show here on ESPN 1080 The Team. Eric Lopez, your night insider, alongside Andrew Melnick, your Magic and NBA lockout insider, but maybe not for as much longer as people think.
Yeah, I've had a lot of meetings recently.
Yes.
Things are looking a little more
Things have
positive.
gone very well, Andrew, and I've been told by sources they're very closer than people have made out to be. So I've heard even theories that they might miss some preseason, but might save the regular season.
Yeah, they really might, and I don't think that's something anyone even was thinking of until yesterday.
I think they're inspired because you haven't written for the ESPN 1080 website since the season ended, and they're very worried about you. And I think you've inspired the meetings.
For basketball, right?
Yeah, you've written football. See, that's what's got them concerned. Since you now write our top 25 poll, our Insiders top 25 poll, I think they're scared that you're going to ditch the NBA. You might save the NBA, Andrew.
I probably will.
Thank you.
There's only so many human interest stories you can write about the NBA right now. So
that's Jason Collette, our MLB Rays and Knights insider, alongside Carson Ingle. David Buckman back in there in the studio. They're getting ready, still giving some bad signs to Collette because they're getting ready for Giants Redskins later today, which is ridiculous. But that's all other story. Got the People's running back who is going to have our content. You can listen to every show we've done on YouTube. Search ESPN 1080 Insiders on YouTube. And you have every episode. And, of course, the big story in Tampa this week is the opening week. Tampa Bay Buccaneers home opener against the Detroit Lions, a game you can listen to right here, the home of the Buccaneers.
And you got to listen.
You better listen because you're not going to be able to watch it for free. People can't watch because there are no Bucs fans anymore. They don't exist, do they, Jason?
I don't know if that's the truth. I mean, I got to stick up for my adopted home since my dad and stepmother live over there. I have a lot of local appeal to the area as far as know what's going on. One thing that comes up a lot often, our national unemployment rate 9.1%. Tampa St. Pete area 11.1%. So they're that much above the national average. And let's face it, the cheapest Bucs ticket you can get at face value is $35. That puts you into the 25th row of the upper deck. I can take $35 and buy a seat behind home plate at Tropicana Field to go watch the Rays with James Shields facing off against John Lester today. I know a lot of people over in the Bucs area, a lot of my friends, they prefer to stay home and watch the game on TV because $35 on top of the parking, on top of the $10 beers, long line, it's just not an enjoyable experience. I mean, if the Bucs were going 12-4, people would be pouring into that place. You saw it in the past in the Dungy era, things happen like that. But right now, people are upset about this blackout, but at the same time, $35 unemployment rate. I have a couple of friends over there that still don't have a job. It's tough times. They're very interested in the Bucs, but it is what it is. It's just a harder time over there in that area right now.
Go ahead, Carson. Defend your Bucs. You always say they're the most popular team. Defend them.
Wait. The most popular team?
Yeah, you always say they're the most popular team in Orlando, which is not true.
Yeah, I mean they're on our station.
They are, which we're very excited about.
I'll give them that credit. But no, I mean certainly I think the two things that you hit on are the main things there, and if they continue to win, I think that fans will come this year. I don't know how much. I mean, I'm not going to really be that guy that's out there rah-rah because it's not a good situation right now. I mean, when you're having blackouts and when you can't fill the stadium, that's not a good thing. And, I'm obviously not there today, so I'm part of the problem, not the solution.
Oh, how about Jacksonville lifting the blackout? Jacksonville's got their own problems. Their situation's worse, and it turns out their game's going to be on TV today. I saw something earlier this week where they're actually...
Yeah, Malcolm Glazer.
Kind of like the dirty little secret where they can say, okay, we'll go ahead and broadcast. The team actually put in the money to buy it out.
I mean, if you're starting Luke McCown, at least you could lift the blackout. But maybe you should just keep the blackout, actually.
I don't want to see Luke McCown.
Did you want to see David
Blaine Gabbert?
Yeah, what's the difference, right?
No, not really.
We'll see Blaine Gabbert throw it Jamar Newsom is what you want to see.
All right, but let's get into this. With great day in sports in Tampa. You got the Rays and the Red Sox. Very quietly, the Rays are now within 4.5. Had a dramatic win last night. The Red Sox, great game. Tied it up in the ninth off Kyle Farnsworth, who blew the save.
Whose elbow is now hurting.
That's not a good sign. No. Santamakia and, of course, Ellsbury back-to-back homers. But the Rays regroup, and they win it. Evan Longoria with the game-winning hit in extra innings. And now Shields and Lester, you mentioned it, a big game. If the Rays win today, we have a wild card race. If they lose, it's over. Do you agree with that?
Pretty much. I mean, at the start of this week, the Rays had a 2% chance of making the playoffs. They have 20 games left. The Red Sox had 19. The Rays would have to go 15-5, while the Sox go 8-11. And let's not forget the Angels, who are playing some darn good baseball right now, are only half a game behind the Rays.
And a game and a half of Texas in the AL West.
Yeah, the Angels are playing some great ball. Basically, just like the Rays, pitching. Dan Herron, Irvin Santana, those guys are getting it done. So the Rays now, winning these two games, looking at coolstandings.com, their chance of making the playoffs is now 7%. So they've more than tripled their chances. You win today against Lester, a guy they've had trouble against. Lester is an incredibly tough matchup. When he's on his game, he's one of the toughest guys to hit in baseball. So that they've had mixed results against him. But you got Shields, who has been dominant against the Red Sox this year and very good at home. They do that, and then everybody who had pretty much gone right out is pulled right back in because they're 3.5 out. And then you look at the last 4 games of the season, the Yankees are playing the Rays. The Yankees have had a god-awful time beating the Red Sox this year. If you're the Yankees team, do you put your best lineup out there and lose to the Rays so the Red Sox make the playoffs? Or do you put your second division team out there, let the Rays in, and then keep the Red Sox at home?
Conspiracy theory, Andrew. How do you feel about that, huh? You can't like that.
Yeah, I think Boston's going to have a tough enough time no matter what the Yankees do. I mean, they've got, the game against the Rays today, 4 against them next weekend in Boston, and then they finish... they don't finish the year with the Yankees, but then they have 3 in New York. Lucky for them.
A little banged up. Euclid is banged up. Beck is banged up.
Yeah, Euclid's supposed to be getting healthy now. But luckily for Boston, they do have 7 games left with Baltimore.
Yeah, that's the big thing. But I mean, Baltimore has actually been a little problematic. They took 2 or 3 from the Yankees, I think. So it's one of these things where they did this last year. They were a pain in the butt to the contending teams down the stretch. But Baltimore is a bad team. Strength of schedule wise, the Rays have the toughest strength of schedule for the rest of the way. But again, this is still, I said it before the season started, we weren't together, but I said this is going to be a division where 3 teams are going to win at least 90 games, and one of them's not going to the postseason. And if the Rays do that, they'll be the first team since the 05 Indians that did not make the postseason. And that team won 93 games, but they could not make the postseason because the Yankees and Red Sox were 95, 96 win teams.
Wow, that's pretty good stuff there. Now, Carson, an hour, and we mentioned Raymond James. You've done this trip. Well, how far is Raymond James from the Trop?
Raymond James from the Trop?
Yeah, it was like an hour?
We're talking 45 minutes, 30 minutes, half an hour?
Half an hour at most.
Yeah. It depends how long you're sitting on 275 for. That's my experience.
That's why you take the game, you guys. You got to use the other roads.
What time of day and what day are you going?
Right. So... Good game now. All seriousness now. We kind of kid, but this is a very good game. Bucs Lions, very big game.
Between these 2 young teams that people are predicting maybe can break out. This is a big matchup in Week 1 already for the NFC playoff scenario.
By the way, I picked the Lions to win the game, but...
Yeah.
Nice. Matthew Stafford, very hot. I mean, they're the trendy pick.
Mm-hmm. If he stays healthy, they're going to be a good team.
Your thoughts on the game, the Bucs and the Lions?
I think that it will be more of an offensive game. I just hope that Ndamukong Suh doesn't kill Josh Freeman. That's kind of, let's just... I know, I love Ndamukong Suh.
He's not a dirty player.
But not today. He's quite a... he's almost changed that mindset and that mentality in Detroit overnight. I mean, it's unbelievable what one guy's been able to do to a team that hasn't won in forever, and he's only a second-year player. But for the Bucs, I mean, I'm really looking to see what they're able to do. I think offensively, we know they've got weapons. Their defense is just, I think, undermanned. They didn't really go out and address any of their any of their depth problems in the offseason and free agency. And so I'm looking to see if that unit can really hold together or if Detroit's going to scorch them.
And that's what I see with this, and that's the thing. Detroit love the offensive skills. We talked about Stafford. You've got Megatron out there, Calvin Johnson at receiver, a very underrated tight end in Brandon Pettigrew, who I think is going to be a big guy to take that big step forward this year. You've got Javid Best in the backfield. They have a lot of skill, and those draft picks of being such a bad team, getting those high draft picks, they have them in place. Now they have experience, and that's why I take the Lions in this game. I think the Lions are going to win this game by 10 points.
Whoa, a 10-pointer there. Melnick, what do you think?
Yeah, I picked Detroit as well in our pick'em that you set up, Eric.
Thank you.
I think they're just got a better team. I like what they're doing up front. You gotta love Matthew Stafford when he's healthy. And to be fair, even when Matthew Stafford is not healthy, Sean Hill probably one of the better backups in the league.
Carson, where do you got?
Yeah, no, to be honest, I have Detroit by a touchdown. I think they win by 7.
I'm going to go Bucs at home. It's a home game, and I think the Bucs are getting undervalued. Detroit, let's...
You just bash their fans.
Well, right, that's different than their team. I think their team's good.
But see, the secret about Lopez is he actually kind of likes the Bucs.
I do like the Bucs. I'm actually kind of upset that this game is not being shown on television, but I'm excited that it's on ESPN 1080 because I think this is the best NFC game of the day. Yeah. With all due respect to your Giants Redskins games.
No respect taken. My team stinks. And we look at the booth is going 21-17 Lions. So
but I like the Bucs.
Side.
Look, I think I want to see Detroit prove this. I want to see Matthew Stafford play 4 quarters for a regular season game. Let's start with that. I think it'll be an exciting game. Freeman's going to make plays against that Detroit secondary. I think it's going to be a fun back and forth game, to say the least. Here's a bonus prediction: who fills capacity bigger, Bucs Lions or Rays Red Sox?
We're gonna go Bucs Lions only because it's the opener, and I think the ticket.
So they have a higher capacity,
higher capacity.
Yeah, I agree with that.
And this is really a tough thing. If you look at the Tampa sports fan this weekend, you had USF with their home opener coming off the big game against Notre Dame, so there's ticket money spent there. Yeah. You've got the opening NFL kickoff. You've got the big series against Boston. You've had a lot of places to share your ticket dollars this weekend, and people have had to make decisions. So the attendance always gets bashed in the area, and you can. I'm not making excuses when you look at the unemployment rate and all of the distractions with the different teams and whatnot all playing at the same time. There's only so many dollars to be spent. Either way, the product in the field is still extremely entertaining. I mean, everybody's tried to kick dirt in the Rays and bury them for dead. This team keeps plugging along, keep winning, and, kudos to them, the fans, whatever.
Kind of a shame they're going head-to-head. It's 2 very good sporting events. If you lived in the Tampa-St. Pete area, I mean, you got great choices either way.
And they're playing at the same time.
They're playing at the same time. I'm going to say Rays Red Sox fills a higher capacity. I think it could.
They had 24,000 last night, a little over 24, and they had 18.5 on Friday night.
Depending on your Red Sox nation,
for all those Bostonians that go, they got no Patriots game to watch today.
Exactly.
Or tomorrow.
And there were a lot of Bostonians there last night because when they hit those 2 home runs on the 9th inning, I took off my earphones because I couldn't tolerate that noise anymore.
That's right. I was going to go to break, but our producer left. He left.
There he is.
All right. So as we're going to go to break.
1190 was off the air. I had to go get him back.
We don't want that for our good friends at 1190. By the way, for more coverage on the Bucs and the Rays, go to our sister station, ESPN 1040 in Tampa. You're good friends, which you are quite familiar with.
Yeah, Craig Smith does a really good job of covering the Bucs, and Craig's got some information up on the ESPN 1040 site, so check his work out.
And you're going to have some stuff on the Rays this week?
Yeah, definitely going to have some stuff on the Rays this week now that my account's up and running. I had that UCF article. Now I can do some stuff on the Rays. Hopefully tonight. I got a short week because I got some medical stuff later on this week, but I'm definitely going to be in the writing mood.
Oh, and if you are going to switching over to 1040, you better wait till 11.
Yeah, absolutely. Because they talk USF football.
That was very intimidating, Melnick. You did a really good job with that.
Yeah, that's right.
That was well done.
Unbelievable. All right, so we're going to go to break. When we come back, we'll go back to UCF. We're going to talk a little bit more of that FIU game. It's a tricky game, and UCF now is the hunted for once in an in-state game. Can FIU pull a surprise? Oh, yeah, there's that other game in Tallahassee, Andrew, just playing.
Yeah, some big games.
We might touch on it.
When we touch on UCF, I call that a Y game, and I'll tell you why in a minute.
Ooh, that's a good tease. Stay tuned. You're listening to ESPN1080.com Insider Show on ESPN 1080 The Team.
This is Kirk Herbstreit. To me, fall isn't just college football season, it's Eckrich season. So when I'm tailgating, you'll always find Eckrich smoked sausage on the grill. Eckrich is naturally hardwood smoked for that rich flavor and enticing aroma. Stock up on Eckridge smoked sausage at your neighborhood Winn-Dixie.
Want to get away but don't have a lot of time and don't want to spend a lot of money? You can't beat our staycation packages. Some of the best hotels and resorts in Florida at half price. Half price. This radio station has secured these incredible half price deals at some of the most desirable locations, from the beaches to the Orlando theme parks. Now you can afford that getaway you want and need. Getaway! Book your half price staycation. Log on to ESPN1080.com. ESPN1080.com.
And now the bonus round. If absence makes the heart grow fonder, what does presence make?
I want to say crab dip.
Correct. Finish this sequence. Tree, sky.
Transubstantiationalism.
Correct. What can you watch instantly with Netflix?
Unlimited TV episodes and movies.
Correct! Watch unlimited TV episodes and movies for only $8 a month from Netflix. See terms of use.
Ma'am, are you crying?
I cry when I'm happy.
Well, that makes two of us.
Every year, more American adults die from vaccine-preventable diseases than from breast cancer, traffic accidents, or AIDS. Vaccines like those for pneumococcal disease and influenza can protect adults from serious illness and help stop the spread of disease to others. I'm Dr. Susan Ream of the National Foundation for Infectious Diseases, urging you to speak with your doctor about vaccination. For more information, visit www.adultvaccination.org.
Live from Progressive.
Flo here. Today we're talking to
Newlyweds.
Hi, my husband and I are combining our policies, and my mother-in-law says we can save with Progressive.
Well, with online, homeowners, and multi-car discounts, saving on car insurance is easy.
So you're saying she's right?
I'm saying get used to it.
Get great savings and more at 1-800-PROGRESSIVE and Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, Mayfield Village, Ohio. Discounts not available in all states. Prices vary based on how you buy.
Well, I spoke to the team before the game and said that when you play games, football, you have to win 2 out of 3 areas. You have to win defense, offense, or special teams. And I said, tonight's the game is, go out and see if you get all 3 done. And I just congratulate them because I think they had all 3 done tonight. I think they played very well as a team, complement each other very well, and very good team win and great win for UCF.
That's UCF head football coach George O'Leary following the win over Boston College.
He didn't really fit in with the Nirvana music. I was kind of like...
you'd be surprised at George's music taste, man.
I saw him after the game. It was kind of funny. Just happened upon me.
It was doing well. He was smiling.
I love that coach speak, too. You got to score more points than the other team to win games, basically.
He's excited. He's 2-0, and hard to believe he'll be taking on an FIU team who this Saturday up at FIU, of course, the team that beat Louisville, head coach Charlie Strong. Hard to believe, Jason, that just about 3-4 years ago, a lot of people in UCF were thinking, hey, let's get rid of buyout George O'Leary, bring in Charlie Strong. What a dope! What bunch of dopes would do think of that?
Fire O'Leary, hire Charlie Strong. Yeah, those were the good days. It's unbelievable. I made the comment last night, they usually play the public service announcement video with George O'Leary on the scoreboard. I think last night was one of the first times I don't remember somebody booing when that video went up, because in the past they would play it, hi, I'm George O'Leary, and you'd always hear the students boo.
Not last Is it night. The tobacco one?
I don't know which one it's for, but it always would pull out an unfortunate reaction. But credit to the students. We didn't say this last night. That student section was completely packed 15 minutes before kickoff. Absolutely packed. And after halftime, it was still packed. And this is a student body that likes to leave.
It's weird. There's like a love fest now with George O'Leary and the students.
Amazing what winning does.
They both used to hate
win 11
each other,
games.
and now O'Leary talks about the students all the time.
The
2 students that formed the whole bandana, the red bandana movement, they brought George O'Leary a red bandana.
And he actually he spoke about them in the post-game press conference as well.
He did. No, it was great. But now they go to FIU, and Andrew, you said before the break, it's a Y game. Why is it a Y game?
Why do you play this game? These games make no sense to me. It's
for UCF side of things.
It's a no-win situation. It's the same thing.
Actually,
I remember complaining.
One good thing about it. Go ahead.
I remember complaining 2 years ago when Florida State scheduled USF. They play them again next year. And when you see, Florida State schedule these USFs and UCFs, there's no good that can really come out of it. You win, you're supposed to win. and there's a decent chance you're going to lose the game.
Well, there's that, but the one big thing out of it is recruiting. I mean, let's be frank. I mean, UCF, the success has come along with a lot of players from South Florida, Miami area coming to UCF. So that's the win here. You get down there, and that's why USF's going down there to play FIU too. I mean, they keep people want to get down there in Miami. If you can't get the Hurricanes in your schedule, take FIU. You're still there. You get on TV. People can come see you play. There's your big upside. But I agree. I mean, this is a complete trap game because you've got BYU 5 days later across country, and FIU, as I saw what they did in Louisville. T.Y. Hilton has been, arguably the best player in the state so far.
Yeah, great fantasy football player.
Fantasy team, but. Yeah, you saw what they did in Louisville, and Louisville had no answer for
it. They destroyed Victor Anderson. I mean, Vic, what happened, man? You got beat up, man. You got beat up.
You see, what had happened was I was distracted with other things.
I don't want to hear excuses. I don't want to hear excuses. You let us down. You got thumped by a fight. Shut his mic off. Shut his off. No excuses. Thank you. All right, as you continue.
Yeah, I mean, it was so bad when I watched that game on Friday night. Bob Davey was doing the play-by-play in the booth, and he was basically calling the plays. I mean, they went 5 wide. Louisville brought the safeties up 5 yards off the line of scrimmage, and Davey's like, Wes is going to throw this ball as quickly as he gets it, and T.Y. split the safeties and was gone. Did a quick slant, was gone. They could not keep up with his speed. I mean, T.Y. Hilton is at FIU because they were trying to get him to play football and basketball. He wanted to do this. This was a guy that was recruited by West Virginia. This was a guy that was recruited by, I think, Ole Miss. I mean, he has that kind of talent. He's at FIU because he wanted to do multiple sports. So this is, and right, we were looking at this over the break. FIU has 441 yards passing on the season. T.Y. Hilton is recipient of 333 of those. He has all 3 of their touchdowns this season. He is the key feature of this.
Yeah, I think he's the best player in the state.
It's tough to argue that right now because what you watch and the numbers are big, but watch what he's doing. And the numbers are, I mean, this is no joke. I mean,
he could play for any team in the state.
He could. Yeah, he absolutely is talented enough. He could jump on any one of the bigger schools in the state and be there. It's going to be impressive, and the UCF pass defense is going to have a big test. I mean, this is, A.J. Green is obviously the bigger, faster, more physical receiver, but T.Y. Hilton is electric.
Much explosive faster. Obviously, Josh Robinson, we expect, will get that assignment. So that'll be a fun matchup. Another reason why I think they're playing this game at FI, to answer your question there, when you got a lot of players from South Florida, how do you recruit kids to come to UCF? Hey, if you come here, we'll play down in South Florida. You can see
you get the game back. I mean, there's so many guys now that I'm sure that's going to be a huge selling point and getting to see family and family coming to that game and getting that backyard game, basically, and that's huge.
I mean, that and schedule-wise, I mean, we think in the past, UCF is they played like 2 or 3 big games every year. At Texas, at South Carolina, all these things, and they start off the season like that. You look at ECU. ECU is now 0-2 after playing South Carolina, Virginia Tech.
And they played well in both games.
They played very well yesterday against Virginia Tech, holding them to just 17 points. Unfortunately, their offense just couldn't get anything done against Tech's defense. But they opened now they're 0-2, but ECU is a very good 0-2 team. If you try to get some more of these games in the schedule, you don't put these huge games. I mean, BC and BYU, that's a good schedule. Get FIU filling in and get the 1AA team. This is a very good UCF schedule set up for another big season for them instead of going and get your brains bashed in by these huge schools every year and then trying to recoup after that.
So UCF at FIU, Buckman, you will not be making the trip down to South Florida.
I won't be. I'll be here with you, and if Colette's available.
If Colette's going to be limping in here on Sunday morning, but
if you can't, don't force the issue. If you're doubtful, don't sit it out. If Peyton Manning can sit it out, anybody can.
I'm not having spinal fusion surgery,
all right,
but
good point. Thank God. Give me your so predictions. UCF FIU, very good game. Unfortunately, it played in the wrong weekend. I think if this was played earlier in the week or in another week, it'd be a pretty fun game. Unfortunately, it's going to get lost.
I mean, it's
going to get lost.
You've got Oklahoma, Tennessee, and Ohio State all coming to the state this week.
What a state! Love this state, huh? Great state. So UCF FIU, who wins?
I still think UCF. I think they kind of similar.
Close or blowout?
I think it's close for a while, and UCF runs away with it.
It's going to be really close. I got UCF 24, FIU 17. So it's going to be a nail biter.
I'm higher. I have 31-24 UCF, just because, and with a late score by FIU to get it that close. Otherwise, it's going to be a 2-score game.
I think they wind up winning by a couple of touchdowns. Actually,
I think it'll be a shootout. I think it'll be whoever. UCF needs to get off to a good start. You don't want to get into a track meet with FIU. You don't want to fall behind them. I expect the same game plan as you've seen all year. I think UCF's going to run the football right down FIU's throat. They're going to want to play keep away. You want to keep FIU off the field. You want to keep T.Y. Hilton off the field. Don't kick to him. If FIU gets ahead early, I know a lot of UCF fans think it's going to be 90-10 in the crowd. I'm going to tell you, I completely wrong. It's going to be 50-50 because FIU people are going to show up for this game now because they beat Louisville, and that's how South Florida works. If they're winning, they will jump on the bandwagon. And it's not been the easiest of tickets. You have to buy season tickets for FIU if you're a UCF fan. I think UCF likes to talk that they'll pack the place. They will bring a good number, but I think it's going to be 50-50. I think it'll be an exciting game. UCF needs to wear them down. They can wear them down defensively, put pressure on Carroll, force some turnovers. I think they pull away in the second half, but it's very close.
I mean, that's the difference between UCF and Louisville. Louisville had a disastrous defensive plan. I mean, if you watch that game, I was watching it, the defense was just awful. And they didn't know how to handle a 5-wide. And that's the thing. One of the benefits that UCF has of playing in Conference USA, everybody runs this offense. Nobody runs. UCF's pretty much the only traditional offense in Conference USA. Everybody else goes 5-wide, runs the quarterback spread option and whatnot. So they're used to facing that kind of attack that FIU runs. And so I think that better prepares them to face that kind of team. And again, Florida talent versus Florida talent, speed versus speed. And I think, again, they'll be able to wear down that front line if they do what they did. They had the ball for 37.5 minutes against BC and do that and just keep rotating those big hogs on the front line in and just start plowing them down. That keeps T.Y. Hilton off the field.
Jason, I think you got to be fair to Louisville, though. Their offense was about as bad as their defense.
It was.
Yeah, maybe Pat Forty's going to write an article about FIU now or something, but that is one of the. They looked awful. Teddy Bridgewater actually completed some passes, which is good for him.
Not 0 for 1 with the pick this week.
But Louisville looks bad, really
bad. But they did put over 400 yards of offense on FIU. They moved the ball. They just didn't do anything with it. UCF needs to score touchdowns, no field goals against FIU. That will not cut it.
Yeah, don't leave points on the field early. You got to get down there and get the crowd
lead
out
early.
of it.
Play, and that'll allow that pass rush to take over like it did against BC. All right, we're going to go no huddle here. Quick, guys. All right, we're going to go no huddle before. We're going to go around the state. In fact, we're going to move about an hour and a half away from FIU Stadium down to Dolphin Stadium. I'm not going to call it whatever it's really called. Miami and Ohio State. Ohio State barely
gets... An hour
gets...
and a half. Who's driving, by the way? But go ahead.
Miami, Ohio State.
Grandma.
Some people, an hour maybe. Traffic. Have you seen South Florida traffic? Ohio State struggled against Toledo. Looked terrible. Miami lost to Maryland in a wild game. They get Ja'Cory Harris. Will start the game. Your thoughts? Who wins?
I don't know why I'm doing it, but I'm going Miami. I think they've got a lot of guys coming back. I mean, most of those guys just had one-game suspensions. Ohio State is not getting their players back. Now we found out they're going to have more guys suspended for indefinitely, at least for the next few weeks. I think Miami's going to edge them out.
Yeah, I got Miami. I think Ja'Cory Harris throws an early pick. Morris comes in. He saves the day. The Canes win.
I'm going to go Miami, too. And let's look at this. Yesterday, Toledo put up the most points of any in-state school against Ohio State since 1909. Eric Page was all over that field against Ohio State, and Eric Page wouldn't make the three deep in Miami.
You see him outrunning Ohio State DBs. He'd probably be the slowest receiver on Miami.
That's true. Yeah, the Boots got a 31-21 score for Miami.
So
I'm not right on line with that.
Unanimous. Florida, Tennessee up in Gainesville. SEC opener for Will Muschamp against Tennessee. Two teams nobody really can get their grasp on how good they are. We'll get some answers hopefully this Saturday. Who wins?
Florida, we have no idea because they've played two, pretty much garbage teams. With UAB, I think it was 4-8 or 3-9 last year.
And FAU,
they're garbage.
Got blown out. You guys saw. I was at the game last year, actually, the UAB game, when they got blown out by UCF.
That was cold. I remember it was a cold game.
It was.
Yeah.
We don't know much about them. Tennessee, we found out something. They have a quarterback. Tyler Bray looks very, very good. I still think Will Muschamp's going to have that defense ready. I think they're going to be able to stop Tyler Bray in Tennessee. I think Florida wins a pretty close game, maybe like a 20-17 type game.
Upset special. I got the Vols.
I'll take the Vols late. Derek Rogers had a big game yesterday against Cincinnati. At least we know with Cincinnati they've played a better opponent. Again, you mentioned Florida's played two garbage opponents, so we'll see where this goes. But I'm still not sold on the new system working that efficiently in a big game this early in the season.
I got Florida. Florida wins. Florida State, Oklahoma, number 1 versus number 5. College game day will be there. Jason, who wins?
Oklahoma. I'm really not convinced of what FSU is going to be able to do. Again, I know what you do with the schedule early on, but you've played two extremely cupcake teams, and now you're going to play. You go from playing a cupcake to playing the entire cake at the same time. I mean, OU is a very good team. You saw what happened last year in Norman. Now they're coming to Tallahassee. I think the crowd keeps them in it early, but in the end, I think OU wins by 10.
Yeah, I'm going to go Knowles. I think they can do it. They don't have a lot of. They haven't been tested, but I think they're athletic enough to compete with Oklahoma, and that crowd is, I think, going to be a huge factor for them.
Surprisingly, unlike last year, the year before, I'm a little more sold on Florida State's defense so far than I am their offense. I really like what they're doing up front. I'm a little nervous about that offense. The guards haven't looked good up front. E.J. Manuel, it's been 2 cupcakes. They've ran about 5 plays, but he hasn't looked not anything like the hype he was getting. And unless he turns that around, I'm going to have to go Oklahoma, too.
OU, the booth says OU. I'm going to go with OU. Yeah,
Victor
Manuel.
says OU. Victor says
You going
OU.
FSU, Buckman?
I'm going with the Noles.
Nice. A game, by the way, Florida State, Oklahoma. You can hear right here on ESPN 1080, right here. The game of the year here on ESPN 1080 next week.
I've never hoped more that
Andrew,
I'm wrong and Carson and Buckman are right.
I hope they're right, too. Andrew, you will have the privilege of being at the game, covering the game. You'll
I'll be calling in first segment
we got
next
a lot of
week.
calls we'll get into next week.
Hopefully I'm happy.
Hopefully so. I hope so, because we like you to be happy. If not, then NBA maybe around the corner. All right, so it's time to take a break. When we come back, of course, reminder, ESPN1080.com. Check out Jason's UCF recap. Good video with myself and Jason recapping the UCF BC game. When we come back, NFL picks. Who's winning the Super Bowl? And then it's not going to be in the Sunshine State, probably, unfortunately.
No.
But we will pick the other Sunshine State teams, Jaguars, Dolphins. We will mention them. You're listening to ESPN1080.com Insider Show on ESPN 1080, the team.
There's no stronger radio voice in the state of Florida than Genesis Communications. With the state's most powerful news stations on the West Coast and on the East Coast, Genesis has a unique position of reaching residents and travelers on all major arteries. From Tallahassee, Jacksonville, Orlando, Tampa, Naples, Palm Beach, and everywhere in between, Genesis Communications is a powerful tool for any message. Whether it's in advertising, branding, political, or public service campaign, Genesis is the best place for reach and frequency. With the political season now underway, more and more people are making appointments tuning in to listen for news and information programs. Genesis has the powerful position in its large coverage areas. Contact Genesis Communications at 813-281-1040. 813-281-1040 for a powerful political or advertising campaign. Genesis Communications, leading the way to the 2012 election.
Time for Walmart's Play of the Game. Today, young David Simpkins' field goal claimed victory for his Pee Wee team. But in a post-game surprise, Mom Shelley scored big with football snacks. The crowd went wild, and Shelley basked in her savings. She'd gone to Walmart, where 90-count Totino's pizza rolls are just $6.98, and 9.7-ounce popcorn Indiana kettle corn is only $2.50. Low prices every day, backed by Walmart's ad match guarantee. Save money, live better. Walmart. Our stores will match the price of any local competitor's printed ad for an identical product. Not applicable to Walmart.com. Restrictions apply. See store for details.
Hey Gators fan, fall isn't just college football season, it's Eckridge season. Think you know your orange and blue well enough to win some game day tickets to see the Gators? Listen to Tuck and O'Neill for the Eckridge Make the Moment Rich trivia question, brought to you by Eckridge Smoked Sausage for your chance to qualify for tickets to the Florida-Georgia game, along with a $50 Winn-Dixie gift card for your next Gators tailgate party. Stock up on Eckridge Smoked Sausage at your neighborhood Winn-Dixie, and listen to Tuck and O'Neill daily for your chance to win. It's Eckridge season. Make the moment rich.
Want to get away but don't have a lot of time and don't want to spend a lot of money? You can't beat our staycation packages. Some of the best hotels and resorts in Florida at half price. Half price. This radio station has secured these incredible half price deals at some of the most desirable locations, from the beaches to the Orlando theme parks. Now you can't afford that getaway you want and need. Getaway! Book your half price staycation. Log on to ESPN1080.com. ESPN1080.com.
Welcome back to ESPN1080.com Insider Show on ESPN 1080 The Team. Eric Lopez, your Knights Insider, alongside Andrew Melnick, NBA Magic Insider, Knowles guy, Carson Ingle, Bucs guy, Jason Collette, Rays MLB Insider, as well as Knights Insider. You can check out his column article, UCF's recap win over Boston College right now. Go to ESPN1080.com, go click on Insiders, and then you'll see a story. I think you're historic. You're the first person ever to write for 1040 and 1080.
Yes,
Congrats.
I am playing. I'm doing the doubleheader version. So
beautiful.
Yeah, it was a good time. Writing that article. Did it this morning because I could barely keep my eyes open after getting home late last night.
Late night. The rough night about the
late
games.
work
Yeah,
and
yeah.
even worse late traffic last night. But hey, after a 30-3 win, it's all worth it.
Makes it easier. So, of course, NFL Sunday kicks off today,
Yeah.
boys. A couple hours away. Big day on ESPN 1080. Football all day long. It'll kick off with the Lions and the Bucs. We'll have a 4 o'clock game. Your beloved, I think, Redskins against the Giants. I'm going to give you and Buckman about 60 seconds to talk smack to each other. Go ahead. Giants, Redskins. What do you guys got?
Please be gentle.
Buckman, your response?
I just hope we don't, knock out 3 or 4 of your quarterbacks, because I don't know how deep you guys are running these days.
We don't even have one quarterback. I mean, Sexy Rexy and John Beck. That's it.
That's the lamest trash talk from two rivals I've ever heard in my life. But that's disappointing. But we'll move on.
It's hard to talk trash when you're playing, week 1, when there's,
it's hard to talk trash when you're a Redskins fan.
And you don't believe in your team fully. I don't think either one of us fully believe in our team this year.
I fully believe they'll be 5-11.
Jason doesn't even partially believe.
Well, you know who doesn't believe in their teams? Jaguar fans. That's the truth. They host Tennessee today. Who wins?
Like the Titans. They upgraded.
So Luke McCown doesn't sell you?
No.
No.
I mean, he sells me as much.
Won that game with David Garrard.
They're not going to.
He sells me as much as David Garrard, but he doesn't. Who didn't sell me either. I think the Titans are going to be able to run the ball a little bit, and they upgraded at quarterback, which was probably the biggest weakness last year.
Jason, we all sweep Tennessee.
Yes. Chris Johnson, even though he didn't do anything this preseason while he was holding out, we'll have a big day.
Beautiful.
Unless he holds out again after the Adrian Peterson contract.
Now, Monday Night Football tomorrow night. You can also hear on 1080 the Dolphins hosting the Patriots. This is real trash talk. Andrew, we're only going to lose by 10, all right? You're going to only win by 10.
Dolphins play them tough. I'll give you within 10.
Beautiful.
As long as the special teams from the Monday night game in Miami last year don't show up for the Dolphins.
I'm going to hate myself for this.
Yeah?
I think the Dolphins are going to win the game.
Wow. I hope you're right.
How about that, huh?
I hope you're right.
I think they're going to win the game.
I hope you're right. We'll see what happens. Oh, look at Buckman playing the music. All right. Let's do quickly here. We're going to go quick. Each division, just give me your winner. Don't even, AFC East, New England?
C.
Yes.
Jets, obviously, wild card, maybe. Possibly second.
Jets are going to be a little iffy.
Yeah, third place. AFC South, wide open now. Peyton Manning out, probably out for the year. Texans.
Picked Houston with Peyton Manning.
I'm a big Texans fan, even though Arian Foster is out this week.
Yeah,
so you
adjust
fantasy guys, sit them.
Ready?
Do you have Derek Ward or Ben Tate? You might want to think about that.
Absolutely. All right. I got the Titans. How about that, people? Matt Hasselbeck, Locker. I like that quarterback combo. Chris Johnson, good running game. I think Hasselbeck, Kenny Britt will be a breakout at wide receiver. Good defense. I think Tennessee wins with 9-10 games, wins this division.
Can't believe you're feeling the Boston College quarterback after last night.
Hey, man. AFC West. San Diego?
Yep.
Easily?
Easily.
I got Denver second. Big year for Kyle Orton.
I think San Diego might be the only team that finishes over 500 in that division.
All right. AFC North. Steelers, Ravens. They play today. It's going to come down to those two.
I got Ravens.
Give me, those two teams are so evenly matched. Give me the quarterback. Give me the Steelers.
I'll go with the Steelers by game.
I got the Steelers. We talked about it with Charlie a couple weeks ago. Ben Roethlisberger is way better than Joe Flacco.
That's what it comes down to for me. Ravens maybe all around have a better team.
Ben Roethlisberger, my MVP pick, by the way, bonus pick. NFC East, obviously, clearly Buckman and Jason don't believe the Giants and the Redskins have any prayer.
Eagles.
Fly, Eagles, fly.
I'll go Eagles, but I like Dallas. I think Dallas is going to give them a run for their money.
I like Dallas, too.
I think Philly's got big questions in the offensive line.
Yeah.
Philly, but closer division than
Too
people
much
think.
talent.
Yeah, I got Dallas in the playoffs this year.
Agreed. NFC North.
NFC North, Green Bay got off to a great start on the Thursday night game. Aaron Rodgers picked up right where he left off. Jermichael Finley, Donald Driver, they've got the tools. I think James Starks has the big year there as the feature back of an offense.
Go Pack, go.
Yeah, I got it Packers.
I got Packers unanimous. Detroit second. Bears have a little bit of a struggle this year at third place. NFC West. Ooh. I got Arizona.
Do we have to pick somebody here? Do we have to pick somebody here?
Sam Bradford. Mike Sims Walker. Come on.
I'm going Sam Bradford. I could see Arizona doing it because I like Kevin Cobb. They got Larry Fitzgerald. They might have a running game this year. I'll go St. Louis because they have the best quarterback, but I wish just we could pick another team from another division.
I like Spags.
Who do you like?
Spags. Coach Spags.
St. Louis? All right, I got Arizona. Much easier schedule than the Rams.
Seattle, by the way.
Rams are going to be 2-4
worst.
after the first 6 games.
The best talent is with the Cardinals. I'm going with the Cardinals.
Agreed. Cardinals. NFC South, you got the Bucs, the Saints, the Falcons.
Atlanta.
I got the Bucs in third. Give me the Saints this year.
That was exciting for a minute.
I was like drug testing. Yeah, I like Atlanta as well.
I got the Saints. I agree. I like the Saints. What I saw on Thursday.
Drew Brees you saw those interceptions last year.
Being out 4 weeks.
They got a million weapons, though. I think they're going to be fine.
Drew Brees just makes guys on that team. I mean, Robert Meacham starring the other day.
Jimmy Graham, baby.
Who I had on my fantasy bench.
Fantasy
Jimmy Graham.
Why did you have him on the bench?
Robert Meacham and Darren Sproles on my bench.
Ooh, that hurts. All right.
You never know which Saints to play because Drew Brees is so good. That's true. That's what he does.
All right. Moment of truth. We begin with Buckman on this. Super Bowl, AFC. Who comes out of the AFC? Who comes out of the NFC? And who wins?
My AFC pick, the Patriots. My NFC pick, can I defer that?
What? There's no deferment. What do you mean?
I'll go. I'm liking Atlanta.
Atlanta, New England.
Yeah.
Who wins?
Yeah, New England, of course.
All right, people's running back. Quick.
I got the Packers out of the NFC, Steelers in the AFC.
I've heard that game before.
Rematch of last year. I like the Steelers making it 7 for the Steel City. Pittsburgh beating the Packers in the rematch of last year.
Wow. Carson.
I got Patriots, Packers, and I got the Packers. Repeat.
I'll go Eagles, Ravens. Ravens win.
Ooh, Baltimore.
Birds.
Yeah, I'm going to be that guy. I'm going for the all-bird Super Bowl.
Andrew.
Yeah, I'm going out on the crazy limb, too, and going to be a homer and say New England beats Green Bay.
Wow.
A little rematch from about 15, 16 years ago.
When's the last time we had a repeat trip to the Super Bowl?
New England.
They lost the repeat, didn't they?
No, they that was a couple years later. They won
Denver would be the
03
last
and 04.
repeat. I believe Denver is the last back-to-back.
No,
New England,
He just
03
said
and 04.
Andrew.
There you go.
All right, so we got less than a minute. I got Green Bay and Pittsburgh. Green Bay repeats, though. Green Bay far superior, the best team in football.
Unbelievable team.
Aaron Rodgers, Ben Roethlisberger, although Pittsburgh could beat them. I think they're the two best teams. New England, I'm not sold on the defense yet.
What's funny with New England is they'll beat Pittsburgh. They beat Pittsburgh every time they play them. Pittsburgh's going to need something like last year, get a Jets or a Ravens or someone to knock them off.
Yep. Unbelievable.
Which is obviously entirely possible.
Very well. It's going to be wild. It's wide open, and that's why people love the NFL. It's going to be exciting, and it's just unbelievable. And you can catch it all here on ESPN 1080. 1 o'clock, Bucs, Lions, right here on the station. Sunday Night Football, Monday Night Football. Thanks to Big Red, Buckman, for Jason Collette, Carson Ingle, Andrew Melnick. I'm Eric Lopez. Enjoy NFL Sunday and Monday, everybody. This is ESPN1080.com Insider Show on ESPN 1080 The Team.